Hey everyone, I'm JP and welcome to Good Talk HQ. Of course, it's the start of a new week, and to try to help out with Monday, let's take a look at some of the budget-friendly deals that you could pick up right now for your Nintendo Switch. Now, we'll stick to games under $2 for today's video. That way you can shop and not have to worry about breaking the bank or any of that kind of stuff. As always, I want to thank you for hanging out. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and we'll dive in. Alright everyone, we'll start with Back to Bed, which is a surreal puzzle game where you guide a sleepwalking man named Bob back to his bed. Navigating dreamlike landscapes full of Escher-inspired architecture, you'll control a subconscious guardian where you'll have to place apples and manipulate the environment in order to redirect his steps. It stands out with its bizarre dream logic and striking art style. It is a short game at only about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it runs great on the Switch, and right now it's just $1.99. The deal ends on the 22nd. Cosmos Bit is a retro-style Metroidvania that pays homage to 8-bit classics. You explore an alien planet, collecting upgrades and battling enemies with a satisfying mix of platforming and shooting. Now, while the game is light on story, the charm lies in the nostalgic pixel visuals and that great chiptune soundtrack. Again, it isn't a very long game at only maybe 2 to 3 hours, but it runs well and would be a great pick for any fan of classic style exploration games. Right now it's just $1.99. The deal ends on the 29th. The Forest Quartet is a touching narrative puzzle game about a band's late singer and her spirit visiting the bandmates to help them heal through music. Now the story is heartfelt with environmental puzzles tied to each character's emotional state. What really sets it apart though is the artistic storytelling and the dynamic soundtrack that changes as you interact with the world around you. Again, it should only take about 2 hours to wrap up and it runs well here on the console. Right now it's just $1.99 and the deal ends on the 8th. Up next is Ghoulboy, which is a 2D action platformer that blends retro pixel visuals with hack and slash gameplay. You play as a young warrior out to defeat monsters and demons with a mix of swordplay, throwing your spear, and magic. The game is a tribute to games like Castlevania, with challenging combat and tight controls. It is a shorter game, again at only 2 to 3 hours, which kind of seems to be a running theme here. And again, it does run well on the Switch with no major performance issues or any of that kind of stuff. Again, the game is just $1.99 and the deal ends on the 5th. Inside is a haunting puzzle platformer from the creators of Limbo, where we play as a young boy, pretty much fleeing for his life. You'll navigate disturbing environments with precise platforming and clever puzzles. The storytelling is entirely visual, with an unforgettable third act, and it should take about 3 to 4 hours to wrap up. Now, it runs great here on the Switch in handheld or docked mode, and again it's just $1.99, with the deal ending on the 1st. Next is One Escape, which is a puzzle platformer where you switch between 3 different animal characters, each with unique skills, in order to break out of prison. One can climb walls while the other breaks obstacles, and the third can sneak past guards. The game mixes stealth, platforming, and light puzzles across dozens of bite-sized levels, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours to wrap up. Now this is probably one most of you haven't heard of, but it is a pretty good game, and at just $1.99, it's not a bad value at all, and the deal ends on the 22nd. Ravva and the Cyclops Curse is a retro 8-bit platformer that feels like it was ripped right out of the NES era. You play as a young summoner along with her 4 companions as they take on the Cyclops Lord. Now the game features clever level design with tight platforming and responsive controls. You have 10 different levels to work your way through, and they do all feel distinct enough. Plus there's a good bit of enemy variety, and you do have a good amount of spells to use. On top of that, there are hidden items and power-ups that you can find throughout the levels as well, and right now it's marked down to just $1.99. The deal ends on the 30th. Rush Rover is a top-down twin-stick shooter with roguelike mechanics where you pilot a small robot through procedurally generated levels. It features fast combat with bullet hell elements and a solid variety of weapons and cool upgrades. Now there's no real story here, it's all about the addictive gameplay loop. That's the star of the show. It is a fairly short game, again around only 2 to maybe 3 hours, and it does run well here on the console with tight controls and minimal load times. Again, right now it's just $1.99 with the deal ending on the 22nd. Shing is a fast beat 'em up that puts you in control of a team of ninja warriors fighting through a beautifully crafted world. Now, what makes the game stand out is the right stick combat system, where you aim slashes in any direction. It supports both local and online multiplayer for up to 4 people, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Now, the game is about 5 to 6 hours long, and it runs well here on the Switch. The major issue is that the online connectivity isn't always that great. In fact, it's not that stable at all, really, but when it works, it is so much fun. Right now, it's just $1.99. The deal ends on the 6th. Up next is Shu, which is a beautiful 2.5D platformer where we guide Shu through a collapsing world. You'll gain temporary powers from companions like gliding or slowing time, adding variety to every level. Now, it is a peaceful, no combat game with a vibrant art style and smooth animation. It'll take about 3 to 4 hours to wrap up, and it runs well here on the Switch. Again, it's just $1.99. The deal ends on the 21st. Next, we have the Sprout Valley and Bit Orchard Animal Valley bundle, which includes 2 cozy pixel art farming sims. Sprout Valley lets you explore and grow crops on a magical island, while Bit Orchard takes things back a little further and gives you more of a Game Boy style feel to it. Now, neither of the games are very complex, but they do both offer a relaxing and nostalgic vibe. Combined, you're getting about 6 to 8 hours of chill gameplay, and right now the bundle is just $1.99, with the deal ending on the 25th. Super Chariot is a physics-based co-op platformer where you push and pull a chariot through underground caves while collecting loot and avoiding traps. Now, the game was designed with 2-player in mind, but you can play by yourself. It combines clever platforming puzzles with momentum-based mechanics. Now, again, there's no deep story here, but the humorous dialogue from the Ghost King can definitely add in a bit of personality to the game, and this is one of the longer games on the list at about 10 to 12 hours to wrap up. Right now, you can pick it up for just $1.99. The deal ends on the 22nd, but sadly, it is limited to just local co-op. There's no online here. Alright everyone, here are some other deals to check out while you are already on the eShop. Alright everyone, that wraps up the video. I hope you all had a good time and we were able to help you find something cool to play. If you do enjoy content like this, YouTube thinks that you'll probably like one of these next. Have a wonderful, safe week out there. A special thank you to the channel members and patrons. Alright everyone, take care.